Welcome to Little Victories, the self-help comedy podcast that proves success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Hosted by fast-talking firecracker Richie DeFrisco and the ever-sly Pat the Cat Murray with the Pat Facts. This is Little Victories.
And we're live. Welcome to the Little Victories podcast. This is episode 4. I am your host, Richie D. Dick, you can call me. And very special episode today. Special guest, again, Little Victories, the podcast. We talk about people's struggles throughout the duration of whatever field that they're in, how they made it through, how they keep going, the little baby steps that kept them moving forward to make them who they are today, to reach their level of success, much more success to come. I'm here with my co-host, as usual, Pat, with the Pat Facts. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my very, very, very special guest for today, Samantha Marji. Samantha, she's a female power lifter that I met in a competitive gym that I signed up for years ago. Very impressed by everything that she does. She's very inspiring, subject matter expert. She's absolutely incredible. And again, without further ado, Samantha Marji.
All right. Yeah, I thought we agreed to clap for our guests. Come
on. Welcome to Little Victories.
Thank you for having me.
Well, pleasure to have you. So, you're a guest on a very, very special episode of what I find important, if anything, about a female athlete. You're very young, you're 22 years old. Mm-hmm. Going to school to be a doctor. On top of that, you're a competitive power lifter, of all things. Why?
Honestly, so when I first started lifting, I would say, when I first started working out, I started at 16 years old, and I was a little on the heavier side. So I started going to the gym with my friends at LA Fitness. So this was before I even went to barbell. And then eventually I found someone that goes to LA Fitness that also goes to barbell. And he was just like, come train with me one day. And then I got into that environment. I saw not only men, but females lifting heavyweight. And I was like, let me try that. I was an athlete in high school, so I was always naturally strong. So I decided to just start deadlifting one day, and the rest was history from there.
What sport were you playing before this?
So I played volleyball all 4 years of high school. I also played travel. So I was on a competitive travel team as well. And I played basketball my freshman year of high school. And it's funny because I was supposed to play volleyball in college too. COVID hit, made the recruiting process because I graduated in 2020. So I didn't get a prom. I didn't get a graduation. I didn't get any of that in 2020. And it made the recruiting process very hard for college. So yeah, and then from there, I just got into lifting more, started competing, and like I said, the rest was history from there, and I'm still lifting to this day.
So now it's interesting, female athletes in general, right, have to deal with the disadvantages compared to men, which we all know. This could go down a rabbit hole of lack of media coverage, lack of funding, sponsorship, facilities. And the only reason why I know this is because I spent a lot of time reading articles last night. No, I know. I mean, it's just common sense information, right? But specifically, like powerlifting, right? You guys got to deal with the stereotype. So girl in the gym is supposed to be apparently like commercial gym, LA Fitness, spandex on the elliptical, or yoga, or Pilates. But powerlifting, women don't powerlift. Yeah. Apparently they do.
They do. Like I was mentioning to you, I think the other day, when I first started going to barbell, there was only a handful of girls lifting in the back with me. But now you go into barbell, it would be more females than men in the powerlifting section. And we're talking about strong females, not squatting 10 pounds, not benching 10 pounds, talking about over 225 pounds, 315 pounds. Some females in the gym are even up to 400 pounds, benching 200 pounds, deadlifting mid 400s. So comparison to now, based on 3 years ago when I first started going to barbell, females in sports, and especially strength sports, has dramatically increased. And it's very beautiful to see.
Yeah, so that's like, what, 2 of me and 3 of you, Richie?
Maybe
Right.
4. My question is, Pat, so now we have to address the fact that Pat's a fat fuck, and
And you're a small piece of shit.
I'm a little piece of shit. I want to know what your competitive lifts are. What's your squat, bench, and deadlift at right now, Mr. Pat?
Well, okay. In terms of hand to mouth, I eat bagel bites, donuts, and coffee. But no, seriously. That whole, and if we want to jump into some Pat facts, right? You want to talk about BMI, you want to talk about body mass index. I know you said, right? Maybe a bit on the chunkier side. As you see, I am on that chunky side. According to the Cleveland Clinic, I am a class 2 obese person. I think a lot of people, especially this day and age, throw around, is it fat shaming, right? How dare you be big? But objectively, it is a health thing. I would. I'm not the biggest I've been, but I'm slowly creeping back to it. I want to go in the other direction. In terms of training and nutrition, I mean, what were you doing to kind of separate yourself from, as you said, back when you were 16, 17 on the chunkier side?
Well, I would say even now my nutrition can be a little shaky. Like you said, the bagel bites, sometimes it's hard to stay away from those things. But recently I've actually done meal preps. The new meal preps company at the gym, I'm starting to go on them now. And especially because I do work some crazy hours, I have to get those meal preps to help me out, because lately I've not been having the time to do my own meal preps. So I would say now I'm more mature in the fact to get my nutrition correct, but it definitely took me some time to get to this point.
You're a full-time EMT.
Yes. Yeah.
Then now you're starting to go to school. You're studying for your MCAT.
That's in 5 weeks, so I'm 5 weeks out.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
very stressed out. I literally studied, I think, like 5 hours this morning.
But still, so now there's a lot going on with the competitive. So you're not someone that squats, bench, deadlifts. You're a competitive lifter. You've been in a competition before. USAPL, United States of America Powerlifting Association.
Is that right? Is that?
Yes.
That's right.
Also, can you stop cutting me off, for Christ's sake?
Well, you
Can you
asked for some factual information. I have to fact check you.
What would you do with a guy like this? If you had to train a guy, where would you start?
We're going there
Treadmill?
already. Okay.
From there, yeah.
From the, day one, Pat's in the gym with you, and you're like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well,
he's
maybe,
very strong.
okay, so maybe warm up, and then from there we'll start lifting.
Start
Get you
lifting
under the bar.
right away. Yeah.
Maybe
That's why I
bench
came.
first.
Okay.
Maybe bench first.
I came to the show. I have to perform.
Would you write a program from, like, when I trained with Angel, and I credit Angel. Angel, I love you. He changed my life. I've been lifting weights. I'm 18. But, when I signed up for this gym, it was an accident because all of our gyms in the Bronx closed because of the pandemic. So I found barbell through Ezra. Ezra introduced me to barbell. And then I when I went to barbell, I didn't do a lot of barbell work because literally this is what this place is. Literally, you have to take your barbell off the gun rack, which is incredible. Every barbell you can imagine is in that fucking gym. And I thought I knew what I was doing, and no. Angel changed everything. I basically thought I could be a personal trainer myself. Turns out I did everything wrong. And within the few years that he had me, he changed my entire life. And I can't repay him for that. One thing I want to mention is the stigma of like, oh, well, why do you guys lift so heavy? Because you're going to get hurt. You hear this shit all the time, right?
Especially for a female, I hear it all the time. But especially from my parents, because in my culture, it's out of the norms for a female to be lifting that heavy. So actually, for the first 2 years of my lifting, I didn't even tell my parents. I was even when I went to I've done 2 national meets. I did not tell my parents.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You did 2 national meets.
Did not tell my parents.
And your parents didn't know about
No,
this.
they just found out this past year.
And what was the reaction to this?
Don't lift so heavy, you're gonna get hurt.
But they weren't like,
They
really.
they mostly were saying that they were more scared for my personal safety more than anything, and they just wanted me to shift my focus more towards school than being wrapped up in the lifting stuff. But I've been managing it both well, so they've been a little laid off about it. But yeah,
You actually did get hurt though.
I did get hurt last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was weird. So I was squatting. I think I was doing 303 for a triple. And then I went down. It's not like I felt anything pop, snap, anything like that. It was more so like a stretchy feeling. Racked the weight. I did my back downs, no problem. Came to the gym the next day for deadlifts. Could not get into a deadlift position. And that was July of 24. So
what was injured? What was wrong?
So I did an MRI. So I have a disc herniation on L3, L4.
Man.
But lately, I've been lifting pain-free. So I'm under a coach who she's also a PT, and she's also giving me powerlifting program. So it's been helping a lot, and I've been feeling a lot better.
That's great. I think you're very health oriented. If I'm getting this right? EMT. You're studying for your MCATs, athleticism, powerlifting. So I guess part of the reason why Richie asked you to be here was that kind of expertise. I mean, joking aside, right? What do you do in terms of incorporating all of that and maybe kind of harnessing that as advice or maybe lifestyle changes to anybody that's interested in getting healthier?
I mean, like you said earlier, when you first start, you have no idea what you're doing. But the most important thing is just to start. Luckily, I did have someone with me. But then after a while, I just started getting more and more obsessed with it. I just feel like if someone just had that guidance with them at first, it will kind of spark that like innate drive for them to keep on pushing.
So is that like because basically the branding of this podcast is the little wins along the way, not your because the fact that you compete is a huge your numbers. So I looked at your numbers and you had me beat in every lift.
Look at that.
So congratulations on that one. And I consider myself strong, but I guess not that strong. But what are the little things along the way? So obviously you come from volleyball, basketball. Now you're on a squat rack. Now you're on a platform deadlifting. You obviously don't know what you're doing at first. It doesn't seem like you were very intimidated. But like there had to be struggles along the way. It could have been outside of the lift. It could have been the way someone said something to you, or the way your friends looked at you, or family, or something where it was like, that's fucked up, and you went past that anyway. The struggle. So the injuries counts as one, and like whatever injuries you faced. But are there other things that you had to face where it's like, I have to find a way past this?
I mean, I would say the biggest thing for me was this past year. Like I said, I have a lot of pressure under me, just also the pressure from my parents to succeed. Like I said, the MCAT stuff. This past summer, I was supposed to take it in September. I had to push it. At that point, I was also trying to get my EMT cert, so I was in class for that. And I was prepping for another national meet in September. So I had 3 things coming up all in September 2024. So what ended up happening, I got injured, pulled out of my national meet that I had to do. And I was very upset about that because at that point, I was the strongest I've ever been in my lifting career. And I had a very good chance of placing at nationals. So I had to pull out 2 months out before my meet, and I was very upset about that. Got my EMT cert, started working, so that was a little victory. And I'm still an EMT now as I'm trying to get back into school. And also had to push my MCAT date to now April. So those are the 2 fails that I had leading in. So that was very stressful. Like that summer, I was very stressed out. There's a lot of pressure on me from parents, a lot of pressure to succeed. Then I had to start working a very demanding job. So it's been a lot lately.
What are your top numbers? Squat, bench, deadlift.
So pre-injury, top numbers: squat 370, bench 215. I did that recently because my bench really hasn't been affected by the injury, so I've been benching very consistently. And then deadlift was 420, but I can't do that right now, obviously.
So your max deadlift is 420?
Yeah.
For a single?
For a single, yeah. I did that at collegiate nationals, so that was on the platform.
You had me beat by almost 100 pounds. Fuck. And I'm good at pulling.
Yeah, I definitely want to get back to that, though, slowly. But right now, I think last week I did squats. I was only doing like 132 because I'm still trying to ease my way back in. So like it's very demoralizing going into the gym. especially, that you can lift that much weight and you kind of have to go back down. Like a month ago, I was just lifting the bar. Now I'm up to 132 pain free. Hopefully when I squat tomorrow, maybe 154 if I'm feeling good, but I definitely can't push it.
What's the motivation behind powerlifting? Because you're a woman.
Yeah.
What motivates you?
I like to be strong. I like to be independent. I don't like to rely on anybody. So if I need to get something done, I'm going to get it done myself. And also it helps with work because the amount of 400-pound patients I've had is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pushing people over, taking people out of their house, that also requires strength. So that's also another motivator that drives me to also recover from this injury and to also be stronger for my patients.
So you can push Pat around if you had to. Like all of a sudden, ambulance
Pat
comes.
is nothing basically.
Oh,
He's nothing.
that makes me feel good.
Compared to what I have to deal with at work is nothing.
Yeah.
Pat, you look great already.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the whole women man thing, but objectively, yeah, I mean, I see it too. I work in passenger service, so like I'm helping people, and I could say that I've deadlifted maybe someone who's 250, 300 pounds because I got to pick them up. I got to put them in a chair, go back and forth. And then I see EMTs all the time. Yesterday, I responded to 3 different passenger emergency calls, and everyone that showed up, when it comes to the physical stuff, everyone kind of assumes, let's get a man. Let a man do it. Man, and it's that you spoke about your culture, and you just spoke about, just that general consensus of like, oh, men are stronger than women. And for a lot of women, that could be the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, what do they say? That like a woman could lift a car if her child was underneath it. And that's superhuman,
Yeah.
Is any of that shit frustrating with like women's sports compared to men's? Because
no,
look
it is
at like
frustrating. For sure, it's frustrating. And when you really look at it now, females have gotten drastically stronger in the past, I would say since after COVID. The amount of female athletes that I've seen that have been absolutely incredible, you have not seen that in the past, let's say 20 years ago, So I definitely say that females are underestimated. And, it hurts the man's ego sometimes,
It's funny
hurts.
because I have a basketball fetish because it was really the only sport that I was really, really good at. And if for some reason I just keep getting better, even in my older age, it's like I just love that sport. Like as a kid, like my favorite basketball, John Stockton, assist king. So like I look at all of what's going on with Caitlin Clark, who holds the title for most assists in a WNBA game. She's got the title for most assists in a NCAA tournament, which is phenomenal. And even like when you listen to all of things that she has to say, she's very adamant about like, look, we need a little more attention, a little more media coverage, a little more light on female athletes and the incredible things that we do because it's so overlooked, it's discouraging, and obviously the funding, the facilities, the sponsorship, etc. These girls on that court are savages. It brings me back to when I was in Lehman College many years ago, and there was a girl, I can't remember her name, it was Jasmiri, something like that, or Jasmine. I did think it was Jasmine. This girl would roast me. And they made me guard her because nobody wanted to guard her. Because the girl, if you gave her like a half a foot, this girl was roasting you. What would you say to other young female athletes out there that aspire to be an athlete, but to not get discouraged of the fact that, everything is about men.
Well, I would definitely say to not settle for less, never ever lower your standard for anybody else, and then just have that mindset that no matter what you set your mind to, no matter how impossible it may be, that you have the strength and drive to overcome any obstacle that can come your way.
And all of the things you've already accomplished, right? So now, how does that make you feel as a person?
Honestly, I'm the type of person that's very hard on myself. So I'm very hyper independent. I'm always looking to strive for more and more and more. So, I mean, I am proud of what I've accomplished so far, But at the end of the day, I kind of want to keep, going after the next goal, which right now is take my MCAT and get into medical school. So once I do that, then maybe I'll feel
You don't
better.
give yourself any credit.
It's, I get, like I said, because usually have a lot of pressure, especially from parents and a certain standard that I have to have. I do give myself credit, but at the same time, I know I can do more.
What's your nationality? What's your ethnicity?
I'm Jordanian. Yeah.
So part of your culture, this is like she's not supposed to lift.
The
100%.
traditional.
Yeah. I've had a family member actually tell me that because I lift so heavy, I'm not going to be able to have kids.
Oh, come on. You're gonna.
And I
have,
looked at him and I laughed. I was like, okay. But that right there, it bothered me, of course. But it actually, there's females that I've seen on TikTok, Instagram that are lifting while they're 8 months pregnant. I've seen a female power lifter do a whole meet while she's almost 9 months pregnant or 7 months pregnant. It was something like that. Lifting weight. So it's just that stigma. And I guess it's a very traditional mindset. But times are changing. Females are lifting heavier. Females are being more independent. Females are taking, higher roles like CEO, doctor, whatever the case is. So at the end of the day, every year, every generation, things are changing. And it's nice to see that females are not settling for less.
Well, we know the stigma, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If they lift heavy, they're going to look like men.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only way that would really happen is if you're taking enhancing drugs. If you're doing it naturally, then there's a very, very low chance that's going to happen. I know a lot of female lifters, strong as hell, they do not look like a man.
I would hate to bring this up now. Unfortunately, Pat, I'm sorry. But Pat's on a lot of steroids right now.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
And
Speaking of enhancements,
I mean,
who's the one in the room with the most experience with enhancements?
I mean, I dabbled down that road once before. That's another conversation for another day.
No, it's not. It's a conversation for right now. We're talking to a bona fide, genuine female athlete powerlifter who has thus given you the numbers to prove she is stronger. And yet, here we are, Dick Frisco, training for a strongman, and admitting that our guest is far more powerful than he has been. Speak on that.
In the past, I went down that road, a little dark road. I'm not a drug addict. I've been around. I'll say this about that stuff is that easily, without hands down, the most addictive drugs I've ever done in my life. And the reason why so we'll go down the drug route now, is because all drugs, for the most part, whether it's alcohol, I think alcohol is the worst out of anything you could do. Again, never been a drug addict in my life. My ex was. I miss her dearly. But I miss her so much. I wish she didn't call the cops on me. But, it's every drug you ever do. As soon as it goes away, you're like, I hate myself. Why did I do this? Steroids is the complete fucking opposite. Where it's like, oh, I woke up this morning. I look better. I feel better. I feel fucking incredible. Like there's a cape behind me. How do you stop that shit? Obviously, I'm not on that now. But really dangerous. The two power leagues that I wanted to mention, there's got to be more. But you have the USAPL, you have the IPL. They both drug test.
IPF. There is an IPL. I'm not 100% sure if it's drug tested, but I know IPF, International Powerlifting Federation.
Oh, it's a IPF.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know the acronym. And they drug test you randomly.
Yeah, so like Delaney, for example, top lifter, world champion 2 times. He gets, I believe, drug tested randomly. And I believe they also take blood from you as well to test to make sure you're not taking anything. Because some lifters, they can get away with it by like cycling, even if it's like drug tested. If you stop taking the drug at a certain time, it gets out of your system. So come to the meet, if you do get drug tested, it may not be in your system. So that's why they kind of do it randomly, so they can try to catch you if you are taking drugs. So yeah, but those are the two, I would say the two main ones. And then you also have the non-drug tested USPA. So.
But, I mean, that must be frustrating, especially if you're going about it all natural. You're doing it, for you and your health and your well-being. And then the people around you that are using it from just a sideline view, I say, what's the point? especially if they're competing on that level. What is it, like a lifetime ban or something like that if you get caught, if you test positive? So what's the reward? What's the reward,
You see, I think that people just get impatient. When it comes to lifting, it comes with time. Even if when you take steroids, it doesn't, yes, your strength can increase in a short amount of time, but regardless of the fact, you have to put in the work. You can't just take steroids and the next day you're going to have big muscles. You have to go to the gym, you still have to train, and then you build muscle a lot faster than other natural lifters, and you recover faster. So if you get injured, you take steroids, you probably have a faster chance of recovering than a natural person. But I just think people get impatient with it. Like I've been lifting, I started at 16, but I didn't start lifting until maybe 18. I did my first powerlifting meet at Mount Vernon actually at 18. And I was actually the non-drug tested, but I wasn't on anything, I promise. It was just
we believe you.
It was just I was just comfortable in the home gym. I was like, let me just compete and see what happens. And then from there, I fell in love with powerlifting. But people just get impatient with it. They just want to get strong overnight. But when I started, I was literally squatting, I don't know, less than 135. I was definitely a deadlifter at first. Now I'm more of a squatter. Deadlifts have not been my friend lately. But
Well, that's the thing, and I'll speak behalf on that because I'm not Mother Teresa. And people ask, well, what it does. Also, the steroids are very different depending on the steroids that you're on. I'm anti-Trenbolone because I think that's the most dangerous. And this was from people that are steroid subject matter experts that used to tell me, take those fucking things and throw them in the garbage because they're dangerous. So I'm anti-Trenbolone. Even though it's become fashionable, it shouldn't be. Very dangerous. But in a sense, what it essentially does is, this is why so many professional athletes, I'm not going to mention names, Alex Rodriguez and everybody else, but is that you're healing immediately. In other words, like you go to the gym and you break your ass. You wanted to go to the gym 8 hours from then, you could do the same fucking workout. It's incredible what it does. But then how do you get off of this stuff? And that's the main issue. But, so I'm anti-drug for the most part, even though I don't trust myself at times. But if you could do it clean. But the one thing I wanted to say, even though we go in tangents, is that the point of this podcast is the little wins along the way. Essentially, there's no better comparison than actually training. Again, Angel told me this, and it really opened up a light to me, is that he said to me one day, he said, we don't exercise. He said, Richie, we train. And that's a big difference. We're in programs, 2 months, very strict. I never seen someone so strict in my entire life than working with him. And I tried to prove him wrong just to be a wise ass. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I went to him when I first met him. I got hurt on a deadlift at 255, not a lot of weight. I asked him for help. He changed my whole life. And then I tried to prove him wrong over the course of the years, and I couldn't because he was fucking right. And he was like, I need you to peak at the right time. It's about the time that you put in. It's like you're not going to deadlift these outrageous or whatever lift you're doing, these outrageous numbers right away. You have to put yourself, like people that are serious about this shit, and I want to ask you this question too if you're the same. You're already thinking about your goals for 2026.
definitely. I think about my goals like 5 years from now.
And that's really the thing. It's like every day you go to the gym and you train, it's a little victory in itself. You're not even thinking about beach muscles. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're putting yourself on a timeline of next year, 2 years, 5 years down the line of who you want to be. And responsibly, you'll become that person because everyone that puts himself on this track, and we get sidelined with injuries, things like that. Mm-hmm. But essentially, when you put yourself in this mindset with your nutrition, with your discipline's the biggest word here, those little wins along the way. And the idea what I've learned from everybody, someone like yourself could taught me everything Angel taught me, is that, Richie, the way it was explained to me is that I need you to come away with a victory in your mind every time you leave the gym as best as possible, because if you try to put too much weight on the bar, you're always going to feel defeated when you don't get that lift up. Mm-hmm. If I can get you to leave this gym 3 pounds stronger this week than you were last week, guess what? You're fucking stronger, right? And that's when I really came into understanding that I can lift these numbers, and I want to hear about your story, if it relates. is that over the course of time, in other words, it takes time. When you first went up to a platform and you're deadlifting, you know, were you immediately thinking about these large numbers? Were you immediately obsessed? How did this happen where it was like, no, I want to put myself on track with this is years of work, maybe the rest of my life?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I first started, 135, not even on squats. I would say like 65 pounds on bench. Deadlifts were my strong suit, so I was like up to like at least 185 on those. But I would never imagine the numbers I'm hitting now. Like 225 on squats was such a big milestone when I first did it. And I was so excited. Like I have videos from LA Fitness of me actually failing it, then trying it again, then getting it. And I was so happy. But now I can do 315 for a triple. Well, pre-injury, of course. 315. I did 370 for a single. Done national meets, which I've never thought in my life that I was going to do. So, and then benching, I'm in the 200s. That bench for sure has been the most surprising lift. And again, that's the only lift that was staying consistent because of the injury. I can still bench through it with no pain. So people in the gym call me a bench specialist because anytime they see me, I'm always benching. And they're like, oh, of course, Sam is benching again today. So either I do Larson's, it's always some sort of bench that I'm doing alongside with the other lifts as well. But never in my life would I think I would be a bench specialist. Like,
when you first competed, when was that? That was 2023.
No, May of 2022.
Were you scared shit?
So because so at my first meet, what did I do? That was like, I think I was like 3 or 4 months into program with the new coach that I had. Still my coach to this day. I think what I did 330 on squats, 154 on bench, and 385 on deadlifts. But with USPA, they use a kabuki bar. So you get a lot more slack on the kabuki bar for deadlifts compared to USAPL. The bar is it's like stiff, so you don't get as much slack. So when I went from USPA to USAPL, my deadlifts went down because the kabuki bar can add like up to 20, 30 pounds on your deadlift. But so from there, I was nervous, but because that first meet was at barbell, I was okay because I just saw people in the crowd supporting me from there. However, my first national meet that I did, which is collegiate nationals in April of 23. That meet, I was scared. I was really scared because I've never had a meet. It was a 4-platform meet, bright lights in your face. First of all, I look so white on the live stream. So white. So like I have the videos and it just looks so bad. But going onto the platform, you see people from all over the country coming in to compete or all over different colleges. And it was just nerve-wracking. And you can tell from the squat videos I have, I just look so nervous. So, but I would definitely say compared to then to now, I have gotten a lot more confident in myself when stepping up to the platform. But again, that comes with experience and comes with time.
Typically, how many girls compete against each other?
So when I competed at CNATS, in my weight class, I think there was like 80 or 90 girls.
That many?
Yeah, I believe so. I would have to go back and look at open powerlifting. I believe it was that in my weight class. But in total, it's probably like, at nationals, you have a lot of lifters coming from all over. So I think in a national meet alone, it would be like 1,200 lifters, like male and females. But I believe at CNAT, it's probably like, I think 400, 500. I'm not sure on the exact. I would have to check open powerlifting.
When you compete against all these girls, are they bitches?
No. Everyone, sometimes when you're warming up in the back, you have to share with people. For the most part, at meets, people have been respectful. I usually don't have an issue. But I would say when you're warming up with other people, I do get very nervous, because like, okay, you got to take this weight off. You got to do this. You got to do that. It can get very stressful. And then also at meets, you have to work on the meets timing, not your own timing. At the gym, you do your set, you eat some candy on the side, you chill, listen to music, and then go ahead. At meets, depending on where you are on the list, on what time. So basically how it works, like let's say if I'm opening up with 330 pounds, right? And let's say someone else is opening up with 350 pounds. I would go first in the meet, for example. So basically, you kind of have to work on that timing and what order you go in. So that's also stressful because it's just like if you have a certain time frame where you like to warm up, it kind of either one rushes you or maybe takes too long if you're last on that list. So like I said, it takes time and experience to get used to that meet setting as well. But if you have a good coach and a handler, it should go smooth for the most part.
Coaches are everything. Coaches are everything. There's certain lifts that I
Yeah.
won't do, like RDLs without Angel or someone
Yeah.
that's like if like you or an Angel or someone that's not qualified is not near me when I'm doing RDLs, I won't do them because my form I can't watch myself in the mirror while I'm doing it, and it's a high risk, high injury potential. So I like certain things I stay away from.
Yeah.
What? So what are your? Obviously, you're trying to become a doctor on top of a competitive powerlifter, which is insane. What are your goals for? Are there short-term goals? What are your short-term goals for the rest of this year? Are you going to compete this year?
That's definitely the goal, even if it might be just a bench only meet, which you can do, because that's like my strongest lift right now. Like I'm benching more than I'm squatting and deadlifting right now because of my injury. Like it's so like not say it's embarrassing, but you know I'm squatting 132, but then I'm going to bench 187 for a triple. So it's just like I if I would do a meet, it would be a bench only meet, or by the time now till maybe the end of the year, if I feel pain free, then I'll probably do a meet. Won't be my best meet with numbers, but it would definitely get me back into it. Short-term goals is definitely my MCAT, which is in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I've been definitely stressed out about that, or in Gen Z terms, crashing out. I've definitely been crashing out a lot. So
Just from somebody who's not kind of in that world, and I'm sure anyone that's listening that wanted to know, in terms of the competitions, in terms of going out there and competing against other people, are there winners and losers? Kind of like, how does that work?
So at nationals, it's the top 5 of each weight class. And the only way to get money from these meets is if you win by your DOTS score. So DOTS is like your body weight versus the amount of weight you're lifting.
I see.
So basically, if you have a 100-pound lifter who has a total, I don't know, like 1,000 pounds, her or his DOT score is going to be through the roof because
Wow.
they're so light. Compared to a 300-pound lifter who's lifting the 1,000 pounds, his DOT score or her DOT score is going to be a lot less.
And I know you spoke about the collegiate level, so mainly through your school, but are there other opportunities for people who aren't in those institutions, like gym-wide kind of things? And what school do you go to, by the way?
Well, I graduate. I went to Mount St. Vincent
How?
in Riverdale.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's funny. My mother went there too.
Really?
Yeah. How is their kind of like, female athlete?
Well, it was a D3 school. I did play volleyball there my first year, and then because I was a commuter, it was also very hard for me to kind of fit in because all the girls were, lived on campus, and I lived like 10 minutes away from the school. So I played for 1 year, and that was it. But they didn't have a powerlifting program. I kind of just did it through my school as like an independent lifter, which you can do. And that's why I was able to get into CNATs. But there's also Raw Nationals that goes on every single year. It's for juniors, which is 20 to 23, and then open lifters, 24 up, and then you have your masters 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure about the exact ages. I believe it's like around 60. I'm not sure the exact ages.
Yeah, and it could get up there, right?
But they changed it recently that you have to do a state meet to qualify for nationals because so much people were registering. So my long-term goal is to do New York States next year, qualify for Raw Nationals, and then compete next year in June at the national stage again. That's my long-term goal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to compete at nationals this year because they changed it from September to June. New York States is actually like in 2 weeks. That was my goal, to do New York States and then nationals in June. But obviously there's no way I'm qualifying for that because of my injury. So I have to wait a year. So
The times that you've competed, your parents didn't even know that you were competing. That's just insane.
yeah, my national meets didn't know. Last year when I competed in March, so almost a year ago, they knew about that one because I had to tell them. Because, like, at that point, I was just tired of lying. I was like, you know what? I'm old. Like, we're adults.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's my body. And if I want to lift and compete, it's my choice. So
When you compete next, my question is that, are you going to invite them?
my last meet, I invited them. He was working. My dad was working. And my mom didn't. She just didn't want to go because she just didn't want to go.
What would it mean to you if they did go?
It would mean a lot. I mean, it's always nice having your parents watching you. And I feel like if my parents were watching me, it would like make me want to do better because I don't want to embarrass myself.
No.
You know what I mean?
My mother used to get me out of jail, which was special.
Okay. I mean, at least she came to come get you.
She would always come and get me.
I don't think she was happy about it though.
There's a lot of. The last time my mother hit me was when I stole my sister. So it's funny, when I was a kid, I used to go in my sister's bag because she was older than me. And I was like 14 years old at like 2 o'clock in the morning, steal my sister's keys out of her bag and drive around. I got pulled over on Pelham Parkway one time by cops at 2:30 in the morning. And when he came to the driver's side window, he's looking at me. He goes, "Oh." And he obviously knew I was too young to drive. And when I rolled the window down and I knew I was in trouble, he said, the cop goes, "I thought you were a little old lady. I couldn't see your head over the car seat." And yeah, but that was the last time my mother hit me. The way my mother would hit me was when I would walk. She would tell me, "Walk." And I'd say, "I'm not going to walk in front of you because you're going to hit me." She said, "Fucking walk." And that was the last time she clocked me right in the back of the head. What I would do to have my mother punch me in the head again.
So, yeah, rest in peace, Mr.
Rest in
Frisco.
peace.
In terms of long goals with competing, do you see yourself maybe trying to inspire and influence, whether that's, posting your powerlift videos, whether that means continuing, competing and just getting, better and better, winning these titles, like you said, maybe getting paid or sponsored, kind of what?
I mean, my goal for next year, definitely for nationals, is to place. I definitely want to place at least in the top 5. So, and in regards to the influencing, right now I've been so focused on school, my EMT stuff, working 16-hour shifts, crazy hours. But definitely I would say once these things dial down a little bit and I do get into med school, I definitely want to do like those med school, pre-med, like those type of TikToks, like come spend a day with me, come lift with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it definitely would inspire girls to just like search for more. Like don't just sit there and just be like, okay, I'm gonna just do school. I don't care about my health. Like focus on your health. You can still succeed. You can still go to school and do what you have to do. Just never limit yourself to anything.
Have you ever had moments where another female reached out to you and was like, "You inspire me," or something along those lines where it makes you fucking melt?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And it definitely does keep me going because when I told you, like I am very hard on myself. Sometimes I don't even realize that other people are looking at me and being like, "Wow, she's doing this, this, and that," and I want to do that. But for me, I don't view it that way. So when people do tell me that, it does push me a little more to kind of show that like, okay, my work isn't going unnoticed and people are, paying attention to those little things.
And, before I forget, because you mentioned it earlier, don't crash out. Right? Don't let it be the end of what you want to do. And I heard this the other day. Someone was telling me that anyone born in the late 90s, early 2000s, they call us the glass generation. And that's because we feel everything, right? Or maybe we're too susceptible to what's going on and, again, that kind of emotion behind it. You're not in the glass generation, definitely. I like your message. Would you want to shout anybody out, yourself out, Instagram, whatever, so that everyone listening to you can, kind of jump on your coattails and see where you go from now?
Yeah, for sure. My Instagram is SamanthaFit_. I believe it's 2 underscores. I'll let you know about that. You know what's so funny? I always forget. I believe it's just Samantha__fit, if I'm correct.
I think it's 1 underscore.
Is
If I'm
it
not
1
mistaken, I
underscore?
think it's Samantha
I should
underscore
really know my
fit.
Instagram handle. I really should. I always forget.
So before we leave and we close down here, what do we do about Pat?
Oh, man.
That's
Well, I
We're
love the
back
shirt.
to that. Thank
the
you.
shirt.
It matches.
I mean, yes.
So I'm fit in terms of fashion, but not body.
We gotta work on Pat here.
We'll see. We'll see.
You think we can get him in barbell within the next few weeks?
All right.
She says yes.
All right.
Are you inspired?
I am through the roof.
I better see you in the powerlifting area by next week.
All right. Jeez. Okay.
Pat ate his last bagel bite yesterday.
Yeah,
that is
that was
fucking
it.
it for him.
That was it.
That was it. He's taken every bagel bite or what are those microwavable burritos?
Yeah.
Hot Pockets.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I guess
Hot
we're not
Pockets
going
are
to.
good.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to Texas chili after this now. So
I can't eat that stuff. I start when I eat that stuff. I start farting, and then I can't be around other people. In the gym, I try, especially I got to watch what I eat. I don't want to be the guy in the gym walking around farting.
Yeah.
Sometimes people walk around there farting, and I'm like, oh, I can't work out over here.
So.
Ugh, fucking disgusting. Anyway, so on that subject, I can't thank you enough for
Thank you.
coming here.
Thank you, Samantha.
Well, thank
You're
you for choosing me.
You're amazing. Every female athlete should be inspired by you. So every young girl out there wanting to get into certain things, especially powerlifting and things like that, because it's like, oh well, girls are not, girls don't do that, and that's why this specific topic meant so much to me, is because I'm borderline a feminist. Never had a father, so everything with me is women, women, women.
Just embrace it, man. Why be on the borderline? Be a feminist.
I'm a feminist.
There you go.
Really inspired by everything that you do. I mean, I've been watching you for years now, and I'm like, this girl's fucking incredible. What an honor to have you on my podcast. Pat, I love you. I'm sorry I picked on you.
It's all right, brother.
But I mean, for Christ's sake already.
I think I might have got my shots in too. So
That's all right. Just because I'm small. Listen, my father had one nut, so technically,
oh my God,
I'm a half a person.
you're 100%.
I need a
half
break
effort.
here.
Yeah.
Love you guys. This was a phenomenal episode. I'm so, and I'd like people to follow your account. I believe it's Samantha_fit. We'll double check. We'll post it on our social media so that you guys can follow her story. Please be inspired. She's very kind. If you want to reach out to for any questions you might have, I'm 99% willing to believe that she will absolutely get back to you guys and help you with whatever information you guys need. Stay tuned for our next episodes. I got a bunch of good episodes coming up next with a lot of good guests. So for Little Victories for today, we're done here. So thank you guys. Ci vediamo. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks for listening to Little Victories. Stay tuned for more wins and more laughs. Follow us at Little Victories Pod on Instagram so you don't miss a thing.